Alright guys, here's part 2. Stone spread his legs, waiting to see what the creature would do. At first, it did nothing, but just watched him, and Lawson, with a mischievous look on his face, slowly, the pipe started to swing, small circles and then larger ones. Then a gruesome roar cut deep into Stone's gut. His muscles tensed and he took a step backwards, forgetting Lawson was behind him. The move knocked his comrade down, but he scrambled right back to his feet and backpedaled until he reached the corner. In one fast move, the Bigfoot swung the pipe above its head and jumped at Stone. At the same instant, Stone pulled his gun, shot two into the creature's chest, and sidestepped out of the way. The Bigfoot landed with a loud thump and spun toward him, blood pouring from its wounds and coating its thick hair. Stone took another shot and the Bigfoot went down. The pipe fell to the deck. I feel bad for that Bigfoot getting shot like that, but if you're getting attacked by one, what are you going to do, right? It's either your life or his. You got to think survival mentality at that point. Gun in the ready position, eyes darting left and right. Stone ensured the area was clear and then moved closer to the Bigfoot. Lawson still hung back by the corner. It took at least 2 minutes for the Bigfoot to die. Stone holstered his gun, then took a deep breath followed by another and slowed his breathing before nudging the Bigfoot with his toes just to make sure it wasn't pulling one over on him. The creature didn't move. "Let's go," Stone said. "The sooner the better," Lawson said. "Not back to shore? We need to figure out how this thing got into this section." "What? No way. What if there's more of them?" "I don't see any others, so either you're with me or you're not. But if you're not, then you'll have to wait by yourself. I'm not giving you the code to the lift." "Fine, whatever. Let's go." Man, that guy's really got a gun shooting attitude right now. Not giving his friend permission to use the code to use the lift. I'm good lordy. Stone and Lawson walked the length of the ship until about 3/4 of the way down, and they were forced to stop. A steel wall blocked their section off from the area that allowed the Bigfoot to access the deck. "Now what?" Lawson asked. "It didn't come from here. Only other place I can think is back down near that small corridor we passed. There's a ventilation duct, but I'll need your help to check it out." At the corridor, Stone eyed the duct, gun in hand, finger resting next to the trigger guard, but saw no movement. He holstered the weapon and said, "Give me a foot up." Lawson laced his fingers together and boosted Stone to the ventilation duct. A rusted lock hung open from the latch. Stone gave the vent cover a tug and it swung open. When it released, the spring mechanism moved it back into place. "Darn it!" Lawson lowered him to the ground. Stone planted his hands on his hips. "Can't say that's ever happened before." "Well, it sure has now." "Right. I got a cable lock on the boat. We can use it to secure the cover." "I'll get it. In the meantime, drag the body to the hatch. When I get back, we'll dump it down after the food." "You're not tossing it overboard?" "No, these creatures are smart, and if they see the body, they'll know not to mess with us again. Though I doubt that baby got up here with the intention of hurting us. I think it was just went exploring and found its way out, got scared and attacked. I'm not staying here by myself. Not with that vent unlocked and you're gone, or you gone. Since you're not certified to carry weapons yet, I shouldn't be doing this, but given the circumstances," Stone's voice trailed off as he bent down, pulled out his knife and handed it to Lawson. "Just don't tell anyone I gave it to you." "You bet." Yeah, like he said, the Bigfoot could have been exploring the ship, and then you had to go bang, bang, gun hole on him. That's what I don't like about those Bigfoot documentary shows or whatever. Like people said, they go gun hole. on the Bigfoots if they think they're about to get attacked or something. And they're not even doing nothing, you know what I mean? They just cause a ruckus to begin with. Makes me mad every time I think about that, but anyway, let's continue. It was a chilly morning. Clouds blocked the sun, except for a few stray rays that managed to sneak through. Wasn't sure I'll see you back here again, Stone said. Not after what happened yesterday. Lawson shrugged. That vent is fixed, right? He nodded. Yeah, the marine lock would hold it for a long time until way after we both retire. But just to be on the safe side, I had it welded shut. Good call. Anyway. How about teaching me to drive the boat sometime? Sure. You can give it a go, but not when we're near the graveyard. It's too risky. You might hit one of the ships. Sometimes parts of them are hard to see, especially when they're under the water. Like that. Nah, I get it. It was slow going out to the ship graveyard. Stone could barely see through the fog coming off the water, 30 feet in front of him at best. At half speed, they monitored their way to the graveyard, and they slowly worked their way through the ships to the Kirkwood. The fog had lifted by the time they arrived, and Stone stopped when he spotted movement on the deck. What are they doing? He asked. How should I know? Stone edged closer, but not too close. He didn't want to disturb the creatures. From the distance, he counted 16 massive Bigfoot near the ground. 16! God lordy. I hate to imagine trying to capture all these guys and creatures and put them on the boat. Oh, good lordy. Two stood in front of the others, and the taller one cradled the baby Bigfoot's body in his hands. Oh crap, they found it. Okay. The creatures let out a long, collective roar. The noise was so loud, Stone and Lawson clamped their hands over their ears. Though that wasn't enough to drown out the sound. The Bigfoot holding the baby looked at Stone, and their eyes met for a long moment. Stone grabbed his binoculars for a better look. Were those tears in the creature's eyes? Maybe they weren't as bad as people thought. The Bigfoot leaned over the edge as far as it could reach and dropped the body into the water. Watched until it sunk below the surface. Another collective roar ripped the air before the creatures disappeared below deck. Now you see what you guys have done? Really. I feel bad now because if he said he saw tears coming from his eye, that Bigfoot's eyes, that means you just killed his young one. I would feel bad. Stone says right here, unbelievable. Lawson nodded. It was pretty cool. What's cool about burying your kid? We killed that thing, but they loved it. Lawson shrugged. Who cares? They're monsters, and that thing attacked us. Well, yeah, but you just killed a family member. Good lordy. And it ain't cool burying your kid either. You'll be like gut-wrenching all your life. Maybe so, but it was still a kid. Whatever, let's get rolling. After tying up the red line, they hauled the food onto the Kirkwood stone cell ring. He pulled it out off his belt and flipped it open. Yeah? He listened for a moment and said, What? You're kidding me. How did that happen? Well, how should I know? Right. We're on it. He closed the phone. Uh-oh. Lawson asked, what was that about? The cameras went out all over the ship. We need to go to the control room and see what's up. Stone led the way to the control room. They passed through a double door and proceeded down through a dark hallway lit only by faint bulbs hanging from the ceilings every 20 feet or so until they reached a T-junction. At the junction, Stone turned right into an even darker hallway. Two of the three bulbs were out. The only light was a flickering faint glow at the far end. He pulled a pen light from his equipment belt and swept the beam across the hallway, but could only see about 10 feet in front of him. Inch by inch they crept down the hall with Stone in the lead. Neither said a word. Stone listened carefully to the muffled grunts and hoots of the Bigfoot. They were definitely agitated. Now, I'll say they're agitated. He couldn't blame them. They just buried one of their own, and he had killed it, shot it through the heart. Sure, it was self-defense, but that didn't mean he had to like it. How much further? Lawson said. It's at the end of the hall. With measured steps, Stone moved through the hallway, head darting left to right and back again. The noises ceased suddenly, and the hair stood up on his arms and on the back of his neck. He stopped abruptly, his hand on the gun. Something's going on. Keep quiet and follow my lead. Stone flicked off the pen light and moved to the wall, flattened his back against it as much as possible, and fought to control his breathing. He watched and waited, but saw nothing. Not a flicker of movement, not a hint of a shadow. Did the Bigfoot escape somehow? What if they were waiting at the end of the hallway? No. There was no way the Bigfoot managed to penetrate the steel walls that separated their part of the ship from the rest of it. The noise must have been some grieving ritual. Come on, he said to Lawson. It's clear. They're just upset, that's all. Let's see what's up with the cameras. Are you sure? What if another one of those things got out? Is it possible? Those walls are 2 feet thick. So yeah, they wouldn't be able to get through there unless they're that freaking strong to break them. But anyway, using the pen light to guide them, they moved through the eerie silence to the control room. Once inside, Stone shut the door. He checked the video monitors. Nothing but static. Either the cameras are all knocked out, and I doubt they all went out at once, or the power supply is compromised. The cameras should be transmitting to the main system in here, which backs up the images before they upload it to the satellite and transmit it to Dr. Roberts and a secure mainframe in the city. I have to get our tech guy in here to see what's wrong with it. Let's finish unloading the food and get out of here. Stone opened the door and stepped into the hall. Metal struck metal. Loud noises reverberated throughout the ship. They came from the left, from the right, and from below. Horrifying roars and moans and grunts joined the banging, and as thought a million people and animals were being tortured. That really would make your hair stick out on your neck and arms. The noise was everywhere, and nowhere simulous, defying, and filled with rage. The banging became faster and faster, the roars louder and louder. At first, they seemed like they came from far away, but the more the noise continued, the closer and louder it got. Lawson pushed past Stone and raced down the corridor. Stone followed. When they turned the corner, sneakers skidding across the deck, the noise abruptly ceased. Stone grabbed Lawson by the shirt, and they both stopped. It was so quiet he could hear the waves lapping against the hull. This is crazy, Lawson said. They're just upset. They just buried one of their dead. Although Stone said the words, he wasn't sure how much he believed them. Those Bigfoot never sounded like that. A roar and a growl here and there, but nothing like the noises he just heard. Let's get the rest of the food unloaded and get out of here. Sounds good to me. I mean, he just said that already, but if they sounded aggressive like that, that means they're angry. They want revenge. They might have you for a snack. But anyway, I don't want to think that, but anyway. Sounds good to me. When they reached the hatch, Stone scanned the deck and then pulled open the hatch cover. Lawson bent down to grab a handful of meat, and Stone caught movement by Lawson's legs. A hairy arm reached up from below. Before he could react, a hand clamped Lawson's ankle, nails digging deep into his skin. Ow! Ooh. He's making my ankle hurt just thinking about it, but anyway. And pulled his leg. Lawson screamed. He fell and hit his head on the deck. The Bigfoot pulled and pulled, determined to squeeze Lawson through the hatch, hole or not. "Help me!" Lawson cried. Stone pulled his Glock, but he couldn't get a clear shot, so he holstered it and dove to the deck and grabbed Lawson's arm. The Bigfoot reached through the hole with its other hand and snatched Lawson's left leg, ripped it right off. Ow! The Bigfoot yanked Lawson to the left and down, and he went into the hole, all except his arm, which Stone still held fast. Lawson screamed to scream. Stone fished for his knife, but he couldn't reach past his waist, not while holding on to his friend's arm. A second later, the Bigfoot severed Lawson's arm from his body, and the man disappeared into the hole. Bile scared Stone's throat as the scurried backwards, his eyes fixed on the hole where he saw the Bigfoot standing on another Bigfoot's shoulders with bloody hands and massive arms. The Bigfoot pulled its body out of the hole. Stone dropped Lawson's arm, scrambled to get his feet, and raced to the lift. He jumped on, punched the coat, sucking it fast as shallow breaths. The lift moved down the side of the hole, each inch seeming like a mile. The Bigfoot reached the edge of the deck and took a giant leap past Stone, landing with a loud thump onto the red lion. Stone grabbed his Glock and squeezed off 3 rounds. The Bigfoot went down, but then pushed back to its feet, bleeding from the shoulder. It let out a ferocious roar. Stone took aim despite the impossible angle and fired down to the Bigfoot. The first shot went wide, but the second hit the monster on the top of his head. Of the head. If that don't kill him, I don't know what will. Anyway. The Bigfoot crumbled to the deck and went still. Stone sighed with relief. Moments later, a second Bigfoot dropped to the red lion, followed by a third, fourth, and then fifth. Stone spun around and looked up at the Kirkwood where at least 50 Bigfoot stood. He hit the emergency stop on the lift and it came to a halt. Now what? He had 40 shots left. Even if he took out a Bigfoot per shot, it wouldn't be enough ammo. If he tried to jump into the water, the impact would kill him, or at least make it impossible to swim to the shore. Not that he could swim that far. Sweat clung to his shirt. His hands shook. He reconsidered his means. He had to try. Maybe they'll leave him alone if he killed enough of them. Stone turned to the red lion and shot 2 Bigfoot before a third jumped to the lift from the Kirkwood. The impact threw the lift against the hull and it lisped to one side. Stone grabbed onto the support beam with both hands and the Glock dropped to the water below. The Bigfoot roared, then lunged toward him. He had no choice but to jump. He shifted to his side to gain clearance, bent his knees, and pushed off, but a hand grabbed him from behind the instant he left the lift. The Bigfoot pulled Stone back onto the lift and pinned him to the platform with his paw. Imagine like this. They're mad. They want blood. Its lift peeled back to reveal pointed yellow teeth. The creature growled. Stone grabbed the Bigfoot's paw, tried to wrest it off of his body. Please, please don't hurt me. The Bigfoot bent down, scooped him up, and tossed him overboard into the waiting hands of one of the Bigfoot on board the red lion. The Bigfoot threw Stone against the wheelhouse, and he felt something snap right before he slid to the deck, dazed. Stone tried to move his legs, but couldn't. Only his head and arms moved, and they hurt like hell. Yeah, they're trying to break you apart like they did your friend. Anyway. Tears ran down his face. This is it. I'm dead. One by one, the Bigfoot jumped from the Kirkwood to the red lion. The boat lay low in the water from all the weight. The engine started up, and the boat began to move backwards. What? Stone said, "How are you doing that?" He spit blood and licked his teeth. The red lion turned and headed through the boat graveyard. It itched its way through the heavily corridored ships. It banged one of them, or one, then another, before hitting an open passageway. The boat approached the security barrier, and the Bigfoot growled a terrifying united roar that could easily be heard for miles, and was met with 1,000 more. The boat stopped, and one by one the Bigfoot jumped on top of the 5-foot-tall security barrier and plunged into the river. After the last beast left the boat, Stone sighed with relief. Maybe there was still a chance to stop them. With his arms bent beneath his chest and his face close to the deck, Stone crawled, his legs dragging behind him, to the hull, using the gunwale for leverage. He pulled himself upright and saw the Bigfoot cutting through the water with fast and bold strokes. He felt his belt for his cell phone, but it was gone. He must have lost it during the attack. Now what? He dropped back to the deck and crawled to the wheelhouse, but the steering wheel and radio was destroyed. Stone grabbed his binoculars, slung them around his neck, and moved into position so he could watch the Bigfoot, helpless to stop them, and with no chance of rescue. There was nothing else he could do. A half hour later, the Bigfoot climbed onto the shore and ran out to attack the city. That's going to be it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and I'll see you next time for more book reading videos. Oh, and I just looked on the back of it that the Bigfoot stories in this book are all made up from these authors that are in here for campfire stories. And all of a sudden I thought they were real. Now I know they're not, but the ones in my other Bigfoot book are more real encounters. But anyway, that's everybody.